And now, from Minnesota's most watched station, this is WCCO4 News.
With a renewed focus on finding who kidnapped Jacob Wetterling, law enforcement is hoping for a new wave of tips from the public.
That appeal was heard loud and clear as investigators named 52-year-old Danny Heinrich as a person of interest in the case. 26 years after the 11-year-old St. Joseph boy was snatched off of a dark county road, the arrest of Heinrich is producing renewed hope.
Today, there are forensic technologies that weren't available to crime labs in 1989. DNA analysis alone is much more sophisticated these days, but it's still the simple leads and clues that investigators are banking on. That's the million-dollar question. How will investigators build upon the information released in yesterday's child pornography indictment? The underlying reason for making such a splash is to get people talking. Here's Bill Hudson.
Inside the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension's St. Paul laboratory, technicians have the latest advancements for doing forensic analysis, from the sophistication of DNA testing to the microscopic probe of footprint and tire track impressions.
They're going to dot their I's and cross.
The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension today to see if they'll submit old evidence for new testing. Because this is an ongoing investigation, they can't comment any further, but it has stimulated new leads. The phones have been ringing with new tips at the Stearns County Sheriff's Department. These are the numbers to call if you have any information. The Stearns County Sheriff is 320-259-3700 or 320-656-6625. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678.
The person of interest in the Jacob Wetterling investigation cannot be charged with kidnapping and raping another Minnesota boy. Yesterday, investigators named 52-year-old Danny Heinrich as a person of interest in the case. They charged him with having child pornography and said he denied any involvement in Wetterling's disappearance. But prosecutors say DNA evidence does connect Heinrich to another crime, the kidnapping and sexual assault of a boy named Jared. That attack happened in Cold Spring 9 months before Wetterling vanished. Because of the statute of limitations in 1989, Heinrich cannot be charged for the alleged crime.
Back in 1989, the kidnapping statutes, basically if you didn't bring the action between 3 and 5 years for state or federal, then you couldn't make the charge.
In 2000, Minnesota went to a no limit on kidnapping. In 2006, federal law followed suit.
More than a year after the disappearance of a Wright County man, a judge sentenced the man responsible for his death. Earlier this month, Robert Nuttall pleaded guilty to the unintentional murder of Christopher Rossing. Today, a judge sentenced him to 20 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 13 years. The two men, along with Nuttall's girlfriend, were seen leaving a Howard Lake bar in August of 2014. Nuttall admitted the two got into a fight that led to Rossing's death. After weeks of searching, investigators found Rossing's remains on the property where Nuttall lived.
It's the most terrible loss you can experience, to not know where somebody is and then to find out how they were taken from you. Nobody should go through it. In my opinion, this is the worst crime that exists.
Rossing's sister refused to give an impact statement in court, saying she doesn't want to spend one more second thinking of Nuttall or what he took from her family. Sex offenders in Minnesota's high security treatment centers say they're frustrated but hopeful they can someday be released.
That's after a federal judge found the program unconstitutional. The judge ordered the state to find ways to release sex offenders, and Pat Kessler spoke with some of them to find out what they think about it.
Minnesota confines more than 700 people to sex offender programs at St. Peter and Moose Lake. So far, none of them has.
An attorney for sex offenders confined in treatment centers says up to 225 offenders could be eligible for release by next April.
Before making a decision on a new Iron Range mine, Governor Mark Dayton is seeing the best and worst of other operations. PolyMet wants to open the state's first copper nickel mine near the Boundary Waters Canoe area. Today, the governor toured the Eagle mine in Michigan. Supporters say the mine has effective environmental protections in place. Earlier this week, Dayton was in South Dakota to look at an abandoned gold mine that now has extensive environmental damage. The new mine could potentially add 350 new jobs and 600 more supporting jobs in surrounding communities.
Sun Country's pilots have approved a new contract ending years of negotiations. The contract provides a 20 to 30% raise in the first year of the 5-year deal. The union had argued that they were some of the lowest paid in the industry. The deal will give the pilots, quote, substantial pay raises and other benefits. New employees will see a raise from $30 an hour to $48 an hour.
Well, the University of Minnesota is breaking ground on a brand new sports facility.
It's pretty exciting. All the money to pay for it, though, isn't quite in place yet. How the university plans to raise millions more.
And Sunday morning, we'll change our clocks back. Why you should change something else this weekend, too.